Hello and welcome! We talked about Fantasia, now it's time to talk about Fantasia 2000. The basic idea of Fantasia 2000 was to basically be a sequel to Fantasia. And they did a really good job with repurposing the idea of it, and I understand what they were going for. However, it did not execute well. We open up with Steve Martin talking about what's going to happen, making it very comedic. And it kind of throws that element of the serious orchestra, beautiful, fantastic masterpiece out the window.
You know, what's amazing is that many of these musicians are playing for the very first time, thanks to Steve Martin's 2-week Master Musician Home Study course. More about that later. Hello and welcome to Fantasia 2000.
Not only does Steve Martin appear in it, but also Morgan Freeman, Penn and Teller, Bette Midler, basically people that were relevant at the time, 18 years ago, and are still relevant to people at least my age and older. However, if you were to put it on for a child, they would have no idea who they are. And it felt more like an episode of Hollywood Squares to me, where it just was, who's gonna come out next? What's gonna happen? By adding the celebrities, it gave it a cheesy element to it, where they were kind of make it lighthearted and gave this weird mini behind the scenes shortcuts talking about the shorts in between the shorts. And it didn't seem like something that belonged in a feature film. It seemed like a featurette that you would have put on the bonus features of a DVD instead of right in the middle of this feature film. So it kind of had a weird aesthetic to it. The nice thing about Fantasia 2000 is it was the first film to be released ever in IMAX in the year 2000. So it was the first film to also be released in the 21st century and IMAX. And visually, it is gorgeously aesthetically beautiful. And for the visual aspects, the animation alone is stunning. I would have loved to have seen it in IMAX. A lot of the shorts too did have more of a Pixar look to it, and I think that's the hard thing that they were not able to execute well, is because of the fact that in the past 30 years now, we're getting close to 30 years, yes. In the past 30 years, Pixar has become really relevant, and a lot of their style has been more experimental and CGI. And because these films are using CGI effects, and you know they are, it's not all hand-drawn animation, it gives it more of a feel that this is a Pixar short instead of a Disney animation short, and it didn't seem to flow as greatly altogether in this film. They all stood alone wonderfully by themselves. However, putting it all together, it just seemed like a collection instead of like Fantasia, where it was this piece and now we're gonna go this piece, and it kind of flowed a little bit better back then. Probably because the style too was very similar to one another, but because these styles were all different people and it was more creative and more experimental, still has that avant-garde feel to it, which I appreciate, but it didn't seem to match up as easily. Within these shorts, we also have The Sorcerer's Apprentice. It's back. Why is it back? This was a complete waste of space. Why are you putting in a short that was the most famous short from Fantasia? That's why Fantasia was there. That is what made Fantasia. And just cutting it from that film and pasting it into your film doesn't mean that it's gonna be a masterpiece. That was such lazy work. I know they're trying to honor it, and it failed. I hated it. We already saw this in Fantasia, and it fits in really well in Fantasia. It's there. You don't need to put it in again just so it's an IMAX, because that's a cheap marketing ploy, and that probably is why this movie failed so greatly. Overall, comparing it from Fantasia to Fantasia 2000, Fantasia is a superior film. It was a classic masterpiece that was very unique and genius at the time and cannot be recreated. Especially if you're taking an entire short scene from Fantasia and putting it into your Fantasia 2000 to honor it, because it does not work. However, just like Fantasia, if you are in the mood to relax, I would say give it a shot, especially if you do like Fantasia. Check it out on your own. Otherwise, it's really not a big deal to skip. If you like the animation, it's stunning on its own. It is a visual masterpiece, and the individual shorts did a great job. If you can handle that and handle the 2-minute sequences in between with the celebrity banter that won't bother you, then it's a great film to watch. Otherwise, it did not live up to Fantasia in my opinion. But let me know what you think. So as always, I hope you have a magical day, and I will see you real soon.